How to heal your piles or hemorrhoids naturally within 3 to 6 days without surgery. I'm Alan Warnitz, I'm a nutrition expert, and I help people restore their health with nutrition. Is that possible to do that? To actually get your piles reversed within 3 days, pain-free, in 6 days it's fully gone? Yes, it's possible. This is my story and this is how I did it. Now, what are piles is basically in the anus, the veins become inflamed and they bulge out. So one of the reasons it bulges out is because if there is a lack of vitamin C, and it's also aggravated with stress. So if you have some stressful times and you haven't handled it, that can be a weak spot in your body and that can actually happen. So when that inflammation happens and the veins bulge out and the feces are coming out, it tends to break and you have bleeding stools. Now, that's a very painful process. Now, when it bulges out outside of your body, in the bum cheeks, that's even worse now. Now, it's absolutely sore because when you can't sit, you can't walk, you can't stand up because your bum cheeks are actually pressing on those veins and it's absolutely painful. So I experienced that pain and thank God I understand nutrition, so I actually said, let me apply nutrition to the T now to actually put this to the test because it's actually happening to me. So I was under stress, and under that stress, that problem happened. So what I did was, I said, okay, now let me actually up my levels of vitamin C, my levels of vitamin B5 and omega-3. So what I did was my own formulation of immunity. That immunity has got an creates anti-inflammatories. It's got the formula of vitamin C, vitamin B5 and B complex in there and some other nutrients as well, which I took in high doses and I started producing anti-inflammatories. Next thing I did is let me create an environment in the body which has got electrolytes. So this CalMag with potassium and I added salt gave the body electrolytes and it also helps to calm the body. So those were the two essential ingredients in the formulation. And I took also capsules of omega-3, 2000 milligrams at a time. So that now set up the environment. I also had some herbs. These herbs are called piles away. So I took these herbs. These herbs help with actually removing piles as well. So I had all this from the nutrition side. So now with the nutrition then, I said, okay, I also took the Lifewave patches. So the Lifewave patches, so I started with X39. This patch actually rebuilds the body by activating the stem cells. So for reconstruction to happen, I needed to have stem cells to be there for reconstructing the body and actually create the healing process. This accelerates the healing process because stem cells are produced. Then I said, okay, let me detox the body. I needed these patches to elevate the levels of glutathione. What it does, it elevates the glutathione by 300%. So when glutathione is elevated, the toxicity around the body where there's the inflammation, the toxicity now is taken care of. It removes all the toxins and helps the body, it protects the body from being damaged by the toxicity. And then another one I took was the patch called Aeon, A-E-O-N. This patch actually helps with inflammation. It helps the body, relax the body at night. I would take this at night for the body to relax and also help the body activate the anti-inflammatories. So with the nutrients, the materials for the anti-inflammatory, then the patch which does the activation and it elevates the levels of the anti-inflammatories, which helps accelerate the process. With this formulation, I got my piles down within 3 days. Within 3 days, the pain was gone. I could sit down, I could travel, there was no problem. So, and I could even pass stools without any bleeding. So that's the formulation, and within the 6th day, the pain had completely reduced and the inflammation was actually virtually gone, that 95% gone. So now let me do a comparison of costs. So I spoke to a doctor and also, doctor, in this condition, what would be the procedure that you would do? She says, in a bad scenario, that would be a operation, that will be surgery. If not surgery, it will be injections of anti-inflammatories, cortisol, prednisone. So plus you'll probably be ending up in a hospital and being cut out and probably being out of action for a few days. So I've asked some people who've actually had the problem. They said yes, they were out of action for 10 days. So there's a surgery, and I looked at the cost. The cost of surgery is about 20,000 Rand. So I would have been set by minus 20,000 Rand, and I would have been recovering for the next 10 days. Now I'm operating after the third day because of that. So with the nutrition intervention, now I said, let's compare the costs. The costs of recovery within 3 days, 90%, or within 6 days you're recovering. I wasn't out of action. I was still operating. I wasn't like not doing anything. I could operate. I could drive, but it was painful and uncomfortable, but I could operate. Now, what is the cost? The cost of the patches for the 6 days is about 1,000 Rand. And the cost of the vitamins for those 6 days is about 200 Rand. So the cost will be 1,200 Rand. So surgery, 20,000, out of action, 10 days. Nutrition, it's still in action, 1,200 Rand, and your pain is gone. Your choice. This is the way I handled it. You can do the same. If you need some help, you need some advice on how to do it, I can advise you on your nutrition and bring this down and help you become pain-free and not to have this again. Thank you for listening.